For decades, the music industry was a kingdom and record labels wore the crown, but a revolution is brewing, led by a new kind of artist who's far more dangerous than any rival, the artist who actually understands business. This is how knowing your numbers became the most dangerous weapon in hip-hop, and why the old guard is running scared. For most of hip-hop's history, the road to stardom had one destination: the front door of a major record label. These companies were the undisputed kings, the gatekeepers of fame and fortune. If you wanted the world to hear your music, you needed their machine, their money, their radio connections, their distribution, their marketing. In exchange for this golden ticket, all you had to do was sign on the dotted line. And that's where the dream often became a trap. Historically, the standard record deal was one of the most predatory contracts out there. Artists, usually young and without a shred of financial education, would sign away huge percentages of their earnings. Worse, they'd often sign away the ownership of their own work, the master recordings. Let that sink in for a second. The master is the original, official recording of a song. Owning it means you control how it's used everywhere, in movies, in commercials, in video games, and you get the lion's share of the money it makes. For years, labels made it standard practice to own these masters forever. The artist was basically a high-profile employee, creating a product someone else would own and profit from for life. They got a cash advance, which many mistook for a salary, but it was just a loan that had to be paid back before they'd ever see a dime in royalties. And that loan covered everything: recording time, music videos, tour support. Most artists spent their careers buried in debt to the very company that was supposed to make them a star. It was a golden cage, and the labels held the only key. For years, this system looked untouchable. Then the internet came along and threw a stick of dynamite into the whole model. The rise of social media and streaming platforms like YouTube, SoundCloud, and later Spotify knocked the first bricks out of the castle walls. For the first time ever, artists had a direct line to their listeners. They didn't need a label's permission to drop a track. They didn't need a DJ to get airtime. They could upload a song from their bedroom and, if the stars aligned, reach millions of people overnight. This wasn't just about technology, it was a psychological shift. A new generation of artists saw that the gatekeepers were losing their grip. The internet was leveling the playing field, and a new kind of hustle was born. Why beg for a seat at the king's table when you could just build your own kingdom? This was the spark, the rebellion that would morph into a full-blown financial revolution led by artists who decided to stop asking for permission and start taking power. This new wave of artist entrepreneurs didn't just want creative control, they wanted financial freedom. They started studying the industry, learning the language of contracts, publishing, and equity. They began writing a new blueprint for success, and it's one that every aspiring artist should be studying. It really boils down to 3 core lessons. First, and most importantly, own your masters. The master recording is the single most valuable asset a musician has, and the new school of rappers gets this. Take Chance the Rapper. From day one, he chose independence. Chance became the poster child for the new wave of smart artists. While he was offered a good deal to sign with Kanye West's Good Music, he decided to remain independent, to keep 100% ownership of his work while partnering with Apple Music on distribution. With no label, his 2016 mixtape, Coloring Book, was released on streaming platforms and went on to win a Grammy for Best Rap Album, the first streaming-only project to ever do so. Chance proved you could hit the highest highs without a label, and by owning his masters, he ensured that he, not some corporation, would be the one getting paid for his work for the rest of his life. That philosophy has become a rallying cry for artists like 21 Savage, who have since negotiated deals that let them keep their ownership, securing both leverage and generational wealth. But in 2023, Chance revealed certain festivals and platforms began lowballing him on performance fees and skipping him for major lineups despite his streaming numbers and success. He expressed frustration with the financial offers he received from festivals for headlining slots. He explained that he and his team had been approached by multiple major festivals with offers that he deemed insufficient and did not reflect his worth as an artist or the impact he could have on a festival. This led him to turning down some offers and ultimately deciding to launch his own festival, the Black Star Line Festival, which took place in Ghana in January 2023.
We're getting close to the date. It's January 6th at the Black Star Square in Accra, Ghana. And it's just like a big black convention. You know, like typically like a lot of people with like actual relationships to Ghana and just black people at large, like a lot of times travel at the end of the year and go spend their time in Ghana, get, a cultural restart and refresh and education on their history. And what we trying to do is use that convening time to offer a real experience and and what we have to offer globally as black people.
The industry supports artists it can control. Financially smart artists, they become a liability. The second lesson, go it alone. The success of artists like Chance kicked off a full-blown independent movement. Look at Russ. He built his entire career on a relentless work ethic, dropping song after song on platforms like SoundCloud to build a massive, loyal fan base from scratch. He famously posted his TuneCore statements showing he was pulling in over $100,000 a week from streaming alone, all because he owned his music. Russ pulled back the curtain, proving to other artists that you don't need a huge marketing machine when you have a direct and real connection with your audience. He went platinum without a major label and has said repeatedly in interviews that artists should avoid 360 deals and own their masters. In a 2024 podcast appearance, Russ revealed that major DSPs like Spotify and Apple Music quietly stopped playlisting him after he began calling out exploitative industry practices, particularly concerning record labels and their role in artificial stream boosting and artist exploitation.
It's one of those things that everyone in the industry knows is going on,
which is
faking the streams. It's a real thing.
So the label buys the streams from Spotify?
So here's the deal. When you talk to these people, because I've talked to these people, because I've been like, what is this? How are y'all doing this? They never disclose the mechanics of how they actually fake the streams. They're treating it like a marketing expense. Because in a sense, it almost is.
You're going to spend $100,000 on billboards. You're going to spend $100,000 on streams.
Right.
Streams are going to put you into playlists.
You're going to spend real money to get fake streams that equate to real money. So that's why they think it makes sense, because it's okay, the streams are fake, but the money's real. They're not doing it to the dude across the street and giving him 1 billion streams. They're doing it to people who really can get $500 million. But let's just pump it to get 900.
Now you're getting number one.
Now you get number one.
So you can pay for a number one.
Oh, yeah.
Russ has suggested that major labels engage in practices like buying streams for established artists to artificially inflate their numbers and chart positions. Labels don't make money off artists like Russ, so they don't promote him. The industry doesn't reward financial independence, it buries it. These artists use social media not just to promote, but to build a community, turning followers into a loyal army that buys merch, concert tickets, and supports their ventures directly. Before his passing, Nipsey Hussle was one of the few rappers who truly understood vertical ownership. From music to real estate to his Marathon clothing store, he owned everything. He turned down label deals and instead partnered only on his terms. He once sold 1,000 copies of Crenshaw for $100 each, and in 2013, Jay-Z bought 100 copies for $10,000.
I remember riding around in LA, and you had announced that you're dropping a $100 mixtape album.
Street album
Street
mixtape.
album,
It was
$100.
called a mixtape because it wasn't my official debut,
Right.
but it was all original. I mean, and to sum it all up, you know, we sold out in the first day. We passed what we expected to do.
How many copies?
1,000 copies at $100 each.
Jay-Z bought that joint.
Yeah, most definitely.
Did he just go and just order 100 copies, or did he hit you up or something like that? Like, was there a story behind it, or did he just order the copies?
Nah, not a long story. You know, he sent word via his team, Rock Nation team,
Okay.
that he wanted to support. You know, so I just looked at it as just a sincere move. Him being a dude that started out the trunk himself, was considered an underdog a good majority of his career, and just, you know, shattered everybody's preconceived notions about not only his success and his level he could take it to, but rappers in general. I think he kind of like resonated with the story.
That move alone proved you didn't need the industry to win. This was part of Nipsey Hussle's unique marketing strategy to sell physical copies of the mixtape for $100 while also offering it for free online. The move was seen as a major co-sign from Jay-Z and validated Nipsey's independent hustle. Nipsey showed that a financially smart rapper could be revolutionary, and the system doesn't like revolutionaries. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Build an empire, not just a career. The smartest rappers in the game today aren't just musicians, they're moguls. Music is the flagship product, the cultural engine that powers a much bigger business. Jay-Z is the master of this, evolving from a rapper into a billionaire with a portfolio that includes music streaming with Tidal, sports management with Rock Nation, and liquor with Douce. And you can't forget Dr. Dre. While he didn't pocket the whole amount, the legendary $3 billion sale of his company, Beats by Dre, to Apple is the most iconic example of leveraging a hip-hop brand into a tech empire. Dre and his partner, Jimmy Iovine, each owned 25% of the company and both earned an estimated $750 million pre-tax from the deal. This mindset has trickled down to the new generation. They're launching fashion lines, investing in startups, and building their own record labels, all in an effort to control the entire ecosystem. They're not just playing the game anymore, they're creating a new one. So why is this a full-blown crisis for the traditional music industry? Because it shatters the very foundation of the old power structure. Record labels built their dominance on having a monopoly over three things: distribution, marketing, and money. For decades, they were the only game in town. Well, here's the dirty truth. The music business isn't designed to make you rich. It's designed to keep you indebted. Labels prefer artists who don't ask questions, rappers who take large advances, aka loans, performers who don't own their rights and rely on their team to do everything. But once a rapper educates themselves, builds outside income streams, or starts talking ownership, they're suddenly difficult to work with. It's not personal, it's business. And in this business, control equals cash. Today, an artist can use TuneCore for distribution, TikTok for marketing, and platforms like Patreon to raise money directly from fans. The industry has been broken up into pieces. Artists can now pick and choose the services they need, working with managers and publicists as partners, not bosses. The proof is in the numbers. In 2023, non-major labels grew their revenues at a faster rate than the majors, and the independent market shares keeps climbing year after year. This is more than a financial problem for the labels, it's an ideological one. The new dream for an artist isn't to get signed. The new dream is to stay independent, own your work, and be the CEO of your own company. This cultural shift is starving the major labels of their most vital resource: new talent. When the most exciting artists are actively dodging the traditional system, that system starts to lose its power. The financially savvy rapper isn't just taking a bigger piece of the pie, they're baking a whole new one and leaving the old guard to fight over crumbs. Hip hop has always been about innovation and defiance, from the block parties of the Bronx to the boardrooms of global corporations. It has always broken the rules. Today, that defiant spirit is aimed right at the industry that once held all the power. The strategy is clear. Own your intellectual property, build a real connection with your audience, and think bigger than just music. These aren't just business moves, they're acts of liberation. By mastering the language of money, artists are seizing the ultimate form of creative control. They've figured out that financial literacy is the most powerful weapon in the fight for artistic freedom. Being financially smart in the music industry is like knowing the magician's trick. Once you see behind the illusion, you realize the whole game is rigged. But instead of being celebrated, these rappers get shadow banned from playlists, blackballed from award shows, smeared as uncooperative or too business-minded. The message is clear. Stay in your lane or else. The old kingdom is crumbling, not from a rival attack, but because the very people it was built on have learned how to build something better for themselves. The age of the label-owned artist is fading. The era of the artist as empire is just getting started.
First of all, I encourage every artist, audit your label. Make sure there's an audit clause, like I'm auditing, who I was with. And there's a lot of money being found. Yeah, because the reality is, like, you don't know. There's a lot of things that are just hidden in those statements and the marketing expenses. And the reason why, if you're signed to a major label, right, it's so easy to just deny everything because there's a buffer. There's a label. The label's the middleman between the fake streams and you. So if it comes out that so-and-so is faking their streams, you can just play dumb. Be like, I had no idea.
The label must have did it.
Yeah, I didn't know what the label was spending their money on.
Right.
Drop your thoughts in the comments section and let me know. What do you think? Are financially smart rappers just too real for the industry, or is there something deeper at play? Well, that's it for now. I'm Annie, and it was nice talking to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives like this one, and I'll see y'all in the next video.